Hi, welcome to Key and Clover. My name is Janine. I am a tarot reader of over a decade, and today I have shown my face after, a very long break to talk about, only the most important, critical things going on in the world. Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift's engagement. Of course, right? The only thing that matters today, obviously not. I do not understand them as a couple, which is totally fine. Like, I don't need to understand everything. It just seemed very weird. So I pulled some cards and was shocked by the cards that I pulled. And when I asked my followers if they wanted to know on it, my followers on Instagram, they said, yeah, duh. So this is why we're here in this kind of weird lighting, in this not very aesthetic spot. Because sometimes you just got to give the people what they want. It needs to happen like right away, right? Because this is like active. It's like a breaking story, right? So I have the cards. I will not be pulling them because I already pulled them. And so I wanted to talk about what I got. There is something to, like, you don't want to just keep pulling cards. It's kind of like if you were at a river and you're picking up stones out of water, the water's going to get mucky. So I'm going to go with the first ones. That's why you're not seeing me pull them, is because I already pulled them. I already drew them. If you don't believe that I already pulled these cards, then I would just click away because, like, if you don't trust me, then it's always, you know what I mean? Like, if you're like, this chick looks scammy, then, like, let's not waste either of our times. I didn't do that. It's just, like, not how I roll, but these are the cards I pulled. I'm saying that because they're, like, really not good cards. But I have some more to preface this, so I'll just tell you that. I will just tell you the things that I am prefacing this whole thing with. The other thing is that I will be reading this very similar to how I read for clients. However, Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift are not my clients, so I do not have their permission to look into their business, right? Their PBiz, their private business. I am just kind of reading the energetic forecast. That's usually what I do, but in readings, I like to ask people for their permission to only see what I need to see to give them the best reading, to give them the information that would be most helpful to them. I don't have that permission. And so I basically just asked, help me understand what I'm looking at, because this is very weird. Is it nosy? Yeah, it kind of is. I do not do this all the time. I guess I was just being nosy. That's fine. I did it as a outsider perspective. I am not trying to be nosy. Sorry, my cat is getting into things that she shouldn't. Stop. So that's why I just did those weird movements. Okay, so I think that's everything that I wanted to cover. Yeah, I guess we'll just talk about them. They're not great, like I said. So, the other thing is, as an intuitive reader, I like people like to all of these spreads. I just don't do that. Okay, I don't do that. I look at the cards and I just know what they mean. I wish I would have done that in this case. Like, usually it's fine, kind of bites you every so often, because it would have been a good idea to be like, oh, like her, him, what's between them, or like whatever, like what's whatever. This is just, how do I understand this? There's no past, present, future. It's just the cards, and I will just interpret them however I see fit, because that's what I do. That's what I do here. So they're bad cards. Okay. The Tower, the Devil, and the Seven of Wands. Those are the cards that I got. So, kind of a struggle here. And, not that there's potential for this to like be okay, but it doesn't really look good. It doesn't look good from where I'm sitting, and I'll tell you why. I am really just looking at the energy of these cards. Everything kind of going to shit, falling apart, control, and trying to stay on top. Now, I really don't know a whole lot about these people. I know, like, I'm not like a great big Taylor Swift fan. Every so often she has a song come around that's a bop, right? And it's like, you can't deny it, but like, that's kind of the extent of things. I'll stay with that. So it's very interesting to me that the Tower card came up. And it's interesting because this is a card of everything falling apart. I think I did a video. I can't remember if I did it on the tarot or if it's the death card, but the death card and the tower. I think I said tarot. This is my cat who just will not allow me to record, but that's fine as long as she's just back there. She's not fine. She's not fine. Come here. Say hi. Sorry. Okay. So, the tower is the card that I link sequentially with the death card. The death card is one of those cards that everyone kind of freaks out over. It's used in movies. That's more theatrical. Death really just speaks to change. And what happens when there is a change knocking at your door that will not stop, it will not slow down, it's not going anywhere, it will happen that you resist. The tower is what happens. Everything comes crashing down because you didn't make the change when the time was right or optimal. You waited until the last minute. It's kind of like what happens if you don't pay a parking ticket. It gets real bad, right? You get notices, it could hit your credit. It can get to a point where you could get arrested for outstanding like parking tickets, right? It can be this whole horrible thing that never needed to happen because you could have just paid the ticket when the ticket was due. So if we think about it like that, there's a few things that come to mind, and ultimately, I'm going to just tell you, I don't know what's going on in their lives. I don't know these people, and I'm not trying to pry spiritually, energetically into their lives. I just pulled some cards to help me understand. So something that does come to mind is I know that Taylor Swift had kind of a big friendship hit between her and Blake Lively, right? With that like whole, was it Justin Baldoni? And I don't know the specifics of that, but I do know that something would have dramatically changed. And so what that meant for her or not, and her social circle or not, I don't know exactly, but I do know that I would say she took a pretty big hit specifically. So that I can take for this. For Travis Kelce, I don't know his life. Like I said, I don't know these people. But a situation like this is not, it's not the most stable ground for a new relationship. So being in this energy can put pressure that I don't think is probably something you really want. It kind of, it's not that it's desperation, but it's an energy that can make things seem like a good idea when in reality you're still just hurting or struggling or unsure, unsteady from a kind of this like catastrophic change, event, destruction that happened in your life. So now we have, after this, we have the Devil card. The Devil is it's a card of control, manipulation. It can speak to someone being under the control of substances, alcohol, or drugs. It can speak to someone being, under, like, you can say like under the control of like a behavior, right? It can speak to overeating, being a workaholic. You are not in control of yourself. And so when we have these together, it can say that a very difficult breakdown of something, destruction of something, has put pressure on someone. You could say, for example, hypothetically, that the destruction of a very close relationship put her in such a place where she felt that she needed to quickly reestablish a very close relationship, right? So this put pressure on her to reestablish something very quickly. It just speaks to not being in full control of a situation, or even trying to exert even more control. It's really interesting because then we see it followed with the Seven of Wands. The Seven of Wands is very much, it's like he's trying to stay on top, right? Like that game King of the Hill, which is really funny to me because that series, of course, just, reboot came out. But it's fighting to stay on top. So my first thought with this was that it had to do with her new album, right? So it can be a way to put pressure, not pressure, it can be like creating buzz around it. It can be that maybe she felt like her reputation took a bit of a hit after the Blake Lively, Justin Baldoni situation, and so wanting to kind of drum up some more positive association. I don't know if the album is out. I think it comes out, but I think it was like the new, I don't know. Don't. Like, it's like going to come out. So again, it could have to do with that. I don't know. I don't know these people. But if we look at this energy, there's no cups. There's no emotion. There's no love. There's no partnership. There's no family. It's 3 cards that speak to something that is pressurized, that is emotional in I don't want to say like in a bad way, but it's not a love emotion. It can be struggle. It's struggle. I mean struggle too. It's a lack of control. Lack of control. All of these really are lack of control. And so, do all of these things a, terrible idea make? Well, I don't know, right? Like I said, they're not my clients. They're not in front of me. I did not get permission to read into their energy. But it tells me, yeah, actually, it makes sense why I'm like, this is weird. This is weird vibe. Because there is a lot of struggle energy around it. Now, I will be the first to tell you, surprise, surprise, I'm actually very traditional. My dream life was getting married young AF and starting a family. That was my dream. So I'm not going to say, oh, this is, all of these bad things. It's fake. Could be like a fake, whatever for publicity. It does seem very weird. Like, why aren't her nails done? It's just very weird. It's very weird to me. It just seems weird. But, hey, that's her life. That's her choice. Like, I'm not saying I know what's happening. I'm saying I don't know what's happening. But I can read the energy around things and say, oh, okay, I understand now why I think it's weird. It's because stuff has broken down for her. That can seem to pressurize things, and she has an album to sell. Now, is that the motivating factor for her? I don't know. Or even, is she experiencing these specifically? I don't know, right? But this helps me understand why I think it's such a weird thing. I want any marriage to succeed. I am a traditional person. That's not up for debate, whatever. I would like it to succeed if they get that far. If it breaks off, it breaks off. But, I always want to see people be happy in the choices that they make. That is why I read tarot. That is why I do this. So I don't know what's going to happen. She does have very difficult energy around her. So it will be interesting to see how this all plays out or not. Again, the nice thing about tarot is that it's never the final say. I can pull horrible cards, and it always is what the person does with this energy. When you have this pressure from everything falling apart and you're just trying to stay on top, it helps you to better navigate any situation. And that is why I do this, and that is what I wanted to share. So I hope you found this interesting. If there are connections that you can see that make more sense with this card, I'd love to hear about it. I just wanted to do this very fast, and now I have to go because I am sweating without our fan on. Let me know what you think in the comments, and I will see you in the next one. Thanks. Bye.